On November the 4th, 1960, medium Leslie Flint received the voice of a man called Alf Pritchett, and he tells the following story about his life on Earth. Al's voice had a Cockney intonation that sounded gruff and husky. He talks about life as a private soldier in World War I in the muddy desolation of a trench in Flanders, Belgium. He said it was around 1917 and they'd been under heavy bombardment all day, and in the morning they were commanded to go over the top. As he struggled out of the trench, he started to run towards the enemy as German soldiers rushed towards him. But for some strange reason, they were running past him as if he wasn't there, and he kept on running. He eventually jumped into a bomb crater and just waited, wondering why the German soldiers had not seen him. He felt at this point that he must have dozed off, and the next thing he saw was a bright light coming towards him that was so dazzling that he could hardly look at it. Then he saw the outline of a figure coming towards him, and as it drew closer, he could see that it was someone that he knew who had been killed many months before. His name was Billy Smart, and they just stared at each other. As he stood up, he felt as light as a feather and went towards him. Billy had an amazing colour in his face, and it was not until he was close to him that he thought, how could he be standing there if he was dead? And they just smiled at each other. As they started to shake hands, Alf thought it strange that there he was, coming out of a crater towards someone that he knew was dead. He figured he must be dreaming. Billy then said, "You're all right, mate. Come on." The moment he grabbed hold of his hand, he felt a floating sensation as he was lifted into the air. It reminded him of the story of Peter Pan. He went higher and higher as everything got further away. Below him were the battlefields, the lights and explosions as the war continued. Alf still believed he was dreaming. Suddenly in front of him were the lights of what looked like a large city that looked luminous and had a sort of glow about them. His feet then touched the ground, and he started walking along what looked like a long avenue. On an each side of the avenue were beautiful trees, and between each tree was what looked like a statue. He could see people walking around wearing strange clothing that looked like the Romans or Greeks that he'd seen in pictures. There were beautiful buildings with pillars with steps that led up to them. The roofs were flat, different from the ones in England. The buildings glowed as he watched all sorts of people and horses. Bill then said to him, "Of course, you know what happened to you." He replied, "What happened? All I know is that I like being here and it's better than being down there, and I'll be sorry when I wake up." He said, "Don't worry, you won't be waking up." He asked, "What are you talking about?" And Billy replied, "You've had it, chum. You're dead." Alf said, "How can I be dead when I'm here? I know you're dead because I saw you get hit a few months ago." Bill said, "You are dead because you got killed in that last charge." Alf said, "Is this heaven then?" And Bill replied, "Not exactly, but it is an aspect." They continued to walk down the road until they came to a hill, and on the hill was a beautiful building. It was similar to something he'd seen in London, but more beautiful. He asked Bill what was in the building, and Bill replied, "It's where you'll meet some of your friends. We call it the reception centre. Just relax and enjoy yourself." As they walked inside, Alf could see all sorts of people there who were dressed as they would have looked like when they were alive. They were sitting around talking, and there were tables and chairs, and the people were bright and cheerful, and some were even eating, which struck him as being strange. If this is heaven, how can they be eating? Bill said that when you come here, you'll still want to do what you consider essential and to do certain things. So if you think it's essential to eat and drink, you can. He then sat down amongst some men who asked him, "Have you just arrived? Because we've been expecting you." He said he's only been there a short time himself. He said it's better than what they told us down there. He asked what he meant. He said, "You know, how they told us about heaven and hell. Well, they've got it all wrong. All that business about if you're good you go to heaven and if you're bad you go to the old cellar, it's all wrong." He said tomorrow he was going to see his grandparents who are on another plane further out and will be taken there by his guide. However, we will not be walking, but we will sort of fly. Alf said, "I was told I was dead, so I suppose the best thing I should do is to follow instructions and behave myself. You never know who might judge you." The man said, "Nobody judges you, and from what he could work out, you judge yourself. After all, it's your conscience, and we all have one. Alf said that he'd like to go back and see his people and whether they'd been told that he's dead. The man said that if you want to go back, it can be arranged, but it'll only make you miserable, I would think, because they would not take a blind bit of notice that you were there. You can bang on someone's door or even the parson's door because he's as blind as the rest of them. Eventually Bill, the man who brought him there, told him he wanted to show him something. He was taken down a street past houses, balconies and beautiful flowers until they reached a large square. There was a fountain in the middle and he could hear music playing. It was wonderful music. It reminded him of when he used to go to the park to listen to the band music, which they used to do in those days. They sat down on a bench under a tree. He left him there to relax and told him he would be back a bit later. Alf closed his eyes and listened to the music, but he suddenly sensed that someone had sat down next to him. He quickly looked around and saw a blonde woman sitting next to him. She looked about 19 or 20, and he was really taken aback. She called him by his name, but how did she know this because he did not know her name? She asked him whether he liked it here, to which he replied, "Yes, miss." She said, "You don't have to call me miss. Don't you know me? My name is Lily, but that does not surprise me because I'm your sister and I died when I was just a baby." Alf said his mother spoke about a baby that died after a few days, but that couldn't be you because you're grown up. She said, "I am your sister and I've grown up here. I'm going to look after you now you are here and I'm going to take you home." She then took him out of the square and down an avenue lined with trees and then out into the countryside until they arrived at a small cottage. The cottage had its own garden with a gate, porch and door. The cottage was surrounded by flowers. They walked into the cottage and through a passageway to a small room. It was all cosy and comfortable, but there was no fireplace. She said a fireplace was not needed because it was always warm and pleasant. He asked her whether it rained and she said it didn't, but they did get some dew. They spoke about their mother, father and brother back on Earth. She said since she was an infant, she would occasionally visit us. She had been with him throughout his war years, but wasn't with him when he died, but had prepared everything for him because she knew he was coming. So he settled in and stayed with his sister. Alf then finished his conversation under the medium Leslie Flint and said that he had to go, and his voice slowly faded until it went silent. So where had his voice come from? And was it really a soldier that had perished in World War I? There is a record of every British soldier killed and buried in every theatre of war, which is kept at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission at Maidenhead in Berkshire in southeast England. Pritchett was not a common name, and a search in files found that there were 4 Pritchetts on file. One of them fitted the story told by the voice with the name Alf Pritchett, Private 20394. William Smart was with the Machine Gun Corps Infantry and was killed near Arras in 1916. Were these really 2 young men spoken about by Alf Pritchett who describe what happened to us when we die? If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit like. It really helps to keep the channel growing. And if you're new here, subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos. We've got lots of strange and fascinating stories coming up, and we'd love to have you along for the journey. The following was recorded in December the 11th, 1967, where a woman called Bessie Smith talks of a life on Earth where she lived for over 40 years as a slave in Alabama picking cotton. Her voice is strong and even loud at times. The narration is delivered in a neutral voice. No attempt has been made to imitate accent, dialect, or manner of speech out of respect for the speaker and the historical context. This is an edited version, and the medium was Leslie Flint. Bessie Smith. I've been through many times in America, but not here. I heard about places like London and Paris and all that since I came here. I speak to many people and they talk to me about these various places, and I decided to go and look for myself. I wouldn't want to live in your world. I had a hard life, but I have no regrets now. I'm teaching the wee ones. Many children come here. I have a school and I wouldn't come back, not to be in your world for anything at all. I was right glad to get out of that there body of mine. It was a wonderful feeling to be free. I found myself free for the first time in my life. I was in the cotton fields. I was there for 45 years. My mama and my papa, they were slaves too. I was brought up in slavery, but there weren't too bad times at that place. They were pretty kind, not so bad as some places I heard about. Master and Mrs. weren't too bad to us. We had our own little place, you know. There were many of us there. We had a good bed, and the food was okay. When I died, I was met by my mama and my pappy, and brothers and sisters and other people. What I didn't know, I was so surprised I'd not got wings. When I realised where I was, I felt behind my back and I hadn't got any wings at all. I didn't know what to think, and I could see all them people all around me, and no one had wings. And I thought, well, am I in heaven because no one's got no wings here? But I realised later they don't have wings. But I was always taught, that when you went to heaven, you had great big wings, and the better you was, the bigger your wings was. I expected I'd have little tiny wings, but I didn't have none. At first, I was real worried about that. I thought I must be in the bad place, but I found out that I was all right. I wish you could see my dress. It's a real nice dress I have on, especially to come here and talk to you people. It's a pity you can't see as well as here. I got a very pretty blue dress, and it's way down to my feet, real nice, and it's beautifully made. I made it myself, and I got a beautiful headdress too, and I've got a star right in the middle, and I earned that star. I did not make it, it was made for me. I earned it, and I'm right proud of it. I've got a wee place here. I suppose you'd not call it a mansion. It's certainly not a big place, but it's a real dandy. It's a real pretty place I have. And it's a very small place, but it just suits me. And I'm here with my mother and my papa and my brothers and my sisters. It's big enough for us though. I will be pleased to meet you when you come. I don't think that's going to be so long either. Well, you must be getting on now for well over 70, and you don't live forever, Thank God for that. My world is very much like it was downstairs. I've got a beautiful house, beautiful place, nice scenery, lovely trees and fields, and beautiful animals, and also some pets. I've got a real good cat. She's the best cat you've ever seen in your whole life. She's almost as big as a lion. I had cats when I was on your side, and it had many kittens, and I guess this cat's the best cat you ever did see. She's a beauty, I'll tell you that. I call her Matilda. That's what I called her because she's a beautiful girl, and she was a big cat when she was on your side, but she's 3 to 4 times bigger over here. I guess it's my love that makes her that big. She's what do you call it now? A striped cat. I don't know what you'd call it in your country, but she's got stripes all over. I talk to her. She talks to me too, but she don't talk with her mouth. She talks with her mind, and I know what the girl thinks. We are inseparable. If you don't love animals, there's something radically wrong with you, and you'll never go to heaven if you don't like God's creatures. We have birds, but the birds are not offended by the cats. I don't think you should have birds put in cages. I guess you'll be coming here pretty soon. You'll be all right when you get here. You'll be running around like a young man of about 18 or so. I guess you'll have a good rest when you get here. I guess Missy will have to do without you for a few years, but you don't want to worry about that. You'll be all right. I got them dandy shoes you ever did see. I didn't wear shoes in the cotton fields. I always wanted a pair of real good shoes, and one of the first things I was presented with when I got here was these dandy shoes. They got good heels, and they're pretty, and they're black. I look after all the little ones, and I've been helping them over, and helping them when they get here. And if they've not got their mama and papa here, if I can help in any way, I will, I take some of them in too, and I teach in school. I had no education on your side of life, but I am mad about education since I've been here. Oh boy, there is not enough I couldn't find out about education. I wanted to know this, and I wanted to know that, and they tell me you want to know too much too soon, you do. So I said, well, I've got to learn. I've got a lot of catching up to do. And I've been studying, and now I only know the ins and outs of most things. Oh boy, I'm glad to be a teacher. I love education. I think education is a marvellous thing, don't you think? Ain't school marvellous? Oh boy, am I happy to be at school. I still go to school. I go to school as regularly as I can, and then I pass on my information and my knowledge, and I go back home and say, I learned this today, I know this, and so on. And I teach the others too, and the little ones. They learn a lot from me now, and I love to do things like dance. Oh boy, do I dance. You should see me dancing. You'd scream with laughter. You'd go into fits of hysterics. I've come to the dancing as you never did see. You know, I love to teach people to dance. I teach the kids too. I show them. I say, come on Sonny, come on Missy, we're going to have a real good time. And we do too. They got various instruments they play, and we have a real fun time. Don't you get the idea in your head because you've got to come here like I used to think that you have to have wings and was always going to be praying to the Lord. No, he doesn't want you to pray to him. He wants you to be happy and to love and do nice things. Make people happy, you know? Religion is what you feel and what you believe and what you know and what you do. I get so excited when I talk to you people. There's a crowd of people here, all nationalities, all standing around. We're all one big family and we're all free. Bless the Lord, that's marvellous.